If you are a seller who wants to send your inventory via email, we have an extension named Email Inventory. This tutorial is to show how you can use the Email Inventory extension once it is integrated. You will receive top highlights in the beginning. Next, you'll get the feature wherein you can do the configuration. The highlights are accompanied by a hover text that explains what the data is about. You can use the drop-down to get the data across a larger timeline. However, please note that the data you see in the highlights will be as per your latest upload. Next, you have the resources, wherein you can read in-depth documentation. Under the Features section, let's see how you can set up your inventory configuration. The inventory setup is divided into two tabs. The first one is Email Configuration, and the second one is Location Opt-in. Let's first look at email configuration. In the first stage, that is, email, you'll enter the email ID you will use to send us your inventory file. Next, you can enter a common subject line that you'll use constantly in all your emails. You can keep it as it is, or you can give a customized subject line. So, this one is the subject line. You generally enter a subject line while composing the email. Next, you can instruct us to read all your emails. Typically, we only read your latest email. But if you're sending us multiple emails, or multiple inventory files in different emails, you choose this option, and we will read all the unread emails. Let's go to the next configuration. Here, you can select whether you want to send your inventory using CSV or Excel. Choose the delimiter you have used in your CSV file. Let's download a sample file and open it. This is the CSV file, and if open it in a text editor, the data is found to be separated by a comma. Similarly, data in CSV can be separated by the following delimiters: a semicolon, a space, a pipe. If you are not using CSV for sending the inventory, you can choose Excel. Let's download a sample Excel file. As an example, we will add more data. And, let's add one more sheet within the file. These are the two sheets. Since an Excel file can contain multiple sheets, you can tell us which sheets you want us to read. Enter the name of the sheet respectively, as shown. Nonetheless, you can choose this option if you want us to read all the sheets present in your Excel file. Let's go to the next configuration. Here you can create validations for processing your inventory file. For example, if you set the minimum price as 100 rupees, we will not process articles that are present in your inventory file, whose price is less than 100 rupees. Next, you can set the minimum quantity. For example, if it is 2, we will not process articles that are present in your inventory file, whose quantity is less than 2. Here you tell us whether you will send your inventory at what intervals. For example, once every 6 hours. Lastly, you tell us how to process your inventory. Infinite inventory, parent-child inventory. Or you can ignore the inventory prices, and instead consider the prices set in your catalog. Let's go to the next configuration, which is advanced. If you are not adding your inventory file as an attachment to your email, you can choose to add its link if it is hosted in some cloud storage. Turn on this option to tell us that it's a link. Similarly, you can add a compressed file as well. For example, you can add this in a zip file. And add the zip file in the email. Turn on this option to tell us that if it's a compressed zip or gzip file. While saving a CSV file, there's an option to use character encoding to indicate the internal content of the file. For example, if you save this CSV file, it will give you the option to save it with UTF-8 or UTF-16 encoding. To understand this option, let's see any one product in your catalog. Here, you can see the price of the product. This is the catalog price. However, the price column also exists in the inventory file. Therefore, using this option, you can tell us whether you want us to consider prices from the catalog or inventory. Select this option to tell us at which row your column headers are present. In the file, the header is present in row number 1. And the data begins from row number 2. Let's enter it here. Now, if you have the headers and data in different rows, please note the row numbers and enter them here accordingly. Using this option, you need to tell us the column names that you've used in your inventory file. For example, you have written location code under this column name. Product identifiers are under this column name. Here's the column name you have used for quantity. And finally, here's the column name for selling price. If you use a different column name in future, make sure to change it in the configuration as well. You will get a hover text for each field. Save the email configuration. Now, we move to the second tab, that is, Location Opt-in. Here, you need to tell us which selling locations inventory you're going to send us. Here are all your selling locations created by you in the Profile section. You can use the toggle button to opt out or opt in a particular location. It's good if your location code on Find Platform and location ID in your database is one and the same. On the other hand, it might be possible that you maintain a separate location ID in your database. In such a case, you need to tell us by mapping the correct location ID to the correct selling location over here. Save the location opt-in. Next, from the main screen, we will go to Analytics. Here, you can select a time period. View all the data and graph. Across article. Each of the metrics has a hover text. On the vertical axis, you get the number of articles. And, on the horizontal axis, you get the timeline. Location. Product. Catalog. We return to the main screen, and go to History. Here, you can see the count of inventory execution. You will get the success and fail count as well. Here, we see the timings at which we received your inventory. There's an explanation for each parameter. You can read the documentation on the main screen to know more about these parameters. This is also accompanied by technical details that help us understand the stages involved in the inventory execution. If there's a failed execution, you will also come to know why it failed.